I'm really glad to be here. First time I've ever been in Little Rock, and it's a pretty town. I found some of the history. Joyce was telling me about the history, and it sounds amazing. I wish I had more time to discover. I'll just have to come back and find out all the good history. I love history, what's going on in the buildings. I want to tell you about something before I started. There's this new product that they developed. Well, it's been around for thousands of years, but it hasn't been used that much. But when it's used, it's amazing. It rejuvenates you, gives you energy. You can take it, you don't have to worry about how much you take. You can take it every hour, every day. And also it removes warts and pimples. If you put it on somebody that's got a lot of warts and pimples, it just gets rid of them right there. You can take the ugliest thing in the world, and if you put this on it, it'll just be beautiful. This is not it. The magic thing is called love, and that's what works, and it does it amazingly. I want you just for a minute to think about somebody that you really like, somebody that's kind of been in your life that you admire, and every time you think of him, you have to smile. Got that person? Okay. Now I want you to think of somebody else. This is that person that every time you see them, you just want to go the other direction. You don't want to have anything to do with them, even if they're in the same room. You wish they weren't there, and they show up more often than you can believe. And they're always around, and they're always giving you a bad time. I want you to think about that person. What do they look like? How tall are they? How smart are they? Everything. Okay, you got that one? Now I want you just to open your mind for a minute and see how much difference there is between the first person and the second person. Is the second person or the first person smarter than the other one? More capable than the other one? More beautiful than the other one? Okay? You see what I'm getting at? There's not that much difference, is there? Not really. Somehow, when the first person makes a mistake or does something we don't like, we kind of shuck it off, say, oh, that's okay. I mean, he's just having a bad day, or, he always does that. It's kind of funny to me when he does that, The second person does the very same thing. I don't care whether he cuts in front of you or whatever he does, and you say, that guy did it again, that guy, he's always doing that, and so forth, okay? The difference really doesn't exist out there in that person. Somehow inside, we're given certain people that we just love. We don't know why we love them. I mean, we just love them, and they just love us, and it's a really nice relationship. And then we're given the other people we have the opposite reaction to. The most valuable of those two people is the second one, not the first one. First one takes no effort on your part at all. You just automatically can love them. Your job is to put my magic potion on the other person. I don't say you have to love them. I'm not going to go that far. You have to maybe be sympathetic to them, understand them, see why they're in your life. What do they bring to you? If they bring an emotion to you, what is that emotion and why is it there? And within that is a tremendous advantage for you. You will learn a lot if you can see that and learn to accept that person. I have written a book about this. It's called Accepting. You can either buy that or you can just listen to what I'm going to say in the next minute and you won't have to buy the book. I had this person in my life. We were building a retreat center. His name was Gene Bleecker. He was a psychiatrist. He always wore a suit and a vest. And when we were building the center, I was up on the roof pounding nails and trying to get boards straight and get doors level and so forth. He would come along and tell me what I was doing wrong. And he was very generous with his advice. It got so bad that every time I saw his car come in the driveway, I just wanted to get out of there. And this was a guy that I was involved with in the retreat. He owned part of it, and he was in the Course in Miracles group and everything. But he just drove me crazy. I tried everything to love him and try to see something good about him that I would like, and there was nothing. I mean, he had nothing that I liked. He was arrogant. He was a smart aleck. He was pushy. He was controlling. He was, you got it? The picture? Okay. One day, I asked inside. Now, see, I talk about inner listening a lot, and I want to say for me, it's my last resort. When all else fails, then I'll listen. So all else had failed with Gene, and one day I said, help me see Gene in a different light. Help me get through this. He's stuck in my life. I can't get him out of here, and I don't know what to do about it. And I was really about ready sometimes to physically attack him. I mean, he would tell me how to pound a nail, and I could tell you what I wanted to do with a hammer, and it wasn't the nail. He said, I want you to think of one thing. So I want you to take this person, the second person, just do it with me today. One thing about that person that you could like or admire. One little thing. It doesn't have to be a big thing. With me, with Gene, the only thing that I could think of that he had any quality at all that I would like was when we went to lunch, which I tried to avoid as much as possible. We went to a nice restaurant. He liked good food. That was it. That was bottom line. Everything else about him, he was a slug. I did not like him. Okay? My inner guy says, I can work with that. Okay? I want you to think about that. Now, next day, I had to do it again. What do you like about Gene? What one thing? What one more quality? It must be something. Well, he had a pretty wife. That was the next thing. Yeah, he's got a pretty wife. And she was a lovely person. I liked her. Barbara was very nice. Okay, I can work with that. He must have something if he's got such a nice wife. Okay, I don't see it, but he must have something. Next day, what do you like about Gene Bleecker? You know what? Gene Bleecker and his wife have a beautiful marriage. They really did. They really got along. He treated her beautifully. She loved him. I didn't have that. I can sure admire that. That's what I was looking for in my life. And I just kept going with it. I can't tell you, if you want to pick up an accepting book, you'll see Gene wrote the beginning eulogy in the book. And he was still Gene, so it's kind of funny to read it. But I've got to the point where when he did things like that, I would think it was funny. I would think Gene's just being Gene. There he goes, telling everybody how to pound nails or whatever he had to do. When I finally got to the end of this, and I won't go through the whole thing, it lasted like 8 months. Gene took me to his house and showed me this Japanese garden that he'd built. I didn't think he could do anything. I didn't think he could put on his shoes in the morning. He built this beautiful Japanese garden with a little waterfall and all this thing. I was amazing. He did that. He totally changed. I don't know how the Holy Spirit did it, but he totally changed. It was amazing. It was amazing. You know, I'm kidding about he changed. I changed. Gene was still Gene. And he still was doing dumb things. But it didn't bother me. Didn't bother me. You can do that literally with everybody in your life if you want to do it. If you don't, you can continue to be upset and miserable. But you can find good in every single person. I'm talking Adolf Hitler. You can find good in every single person. And your job, if you decide to take the assignment, to sell my new product here that I just found, is to love everybody, to extend that to everybody. You don't have to go out and preach or do any of that. You just start tomorrow or today or in the next minute and just love somebody else. Include another person in your circle of love. Now, I'm telling you this for a selfish reason. You're going to make a lot of money selling this product. It is a great product. People are going to change fantastically. Your life is going to change fantastically the more you sell this product. There's only one problem with it, is you can't buy it. They can't buy it. You have to give it to them. You have to give it to them. When I first started my search, and I was on my knees. I tried everything. I didn't get to where I am today, whatever that is, I don't know. But I didn't get to my place of happiness, I can say that, because I worked at it or I attained something or I was successful. Well, I guess I did get here because I was successful. I was successful and I was still unhappy. I had just sold my business for a lot of money. I had just lost my love of my life to a divorce. And I moved to California, and I started another little business, and it was right back the same thing. I was making a lot of money, and I wasn't happy. I was dealing with people that I didn't want to deal with, and I wasn't doing anything that made me happy. And so I said, I'm going to stop everything till I find out what's going on here, because I don't want to spend the rest of my life trying to get happy, trying to find what would make me happy. I cannot find it. Now, interestingly enough, I was raised as a Christian Scientist, and I had a lot of Christian Science in my early life. I mean, I went to Christian Science Sunday school. I drove the teachers crazy, but I went. And then my mother wanted me to go to a Christian Science college, so I did that. And when I got out of all that, how it happened, I was a student body president. If they only knew, but I ended up student body president. And when I left, I said, that's enough of that. I want to go into business. I want to make money. Unfortunately, I married a lady who got converted to Christian Science, and she insisted that we not drink, we not smoke, we not be near anybody that did, and so forth. And that didn't work for me. So I set off on a business success story that involved a lot of drinking and a lot of, probably activities that you wouldn't approve of or I might not approve of now. And I, of course, met a lot of people that were doing things that they shouldn't be doing. And I had conflicted about that. And I think that conflict drove me kind of nuts. And I got to the point where I was sure there was no God. There can't be a God. But all I see is the people that are breaking the rules are making all the money, not the people that are following the rules. If it's such a good deal, why doesn't it make you more successful? Why doesn't it make you happier? I thought people that believed in God were kind of stupid. The only trouble is, there was in the back of my mind, I still had all that learning and what I had seen as a child, and my mother was a tremendous healer, so I'd seen that. So I thought, well, there might be something out there. But my experience was there was nothing out there. It was chaos. It didn't make sense. And so I decided, I don't know if you heard the story of Mark Twain. I told it in the workshop yesterday. Mark Twain came to the same kind of problem, and he decided to find out whether there was a God or not. And he figured if he came into a church and he sat there and said, I don't believe in you, I don't believe in God, and so forth, that he would either be struck by lightning or there was no God. And I knew about that, and I thought that was a pretty good idea, except I didn't think that Mark had given him enough time. So I literally, and I'm not just making this up, I literally decided I will give God 1 year. If you're out there, there's anything there, anything, you're going to have to show up, because I have no idea how to find you. I have no idea. I don't know where to go. I've been in plenty of churches. I went back to Christian Science Church and gave extra donations, hoping that would help. It didn't help. So I gave him a year to show up, and I had no idea what to do. I just waited. I ran down by the ocean. I'd sit by the ocean. If I woke up in the middle of the night, I'd turn on the television, maybe a preacher on there. He'd go talking about sending money, and I'd be healed and so forth. But somewhere in what he was talking about, something would strike me. And I kept getting these little messages, the little coincidences. A good example of it happened to me. I got up in the morning. I decided to start reading the Bible again. Maybe that would help. Maybe he'd show up if I was reading the Bible. And so I was reading the Bible, and it said something about the Jewish people being a stiff-necked people. They were out in the wilderness. They had been looking for guidance. They had a sun, cloud by day. They had fire by night. They had manna every morning. They still weren't happy. They still figured that God should be doing more than that. But in it says, thou something, stiff-necked people. I thought, that has nothing to do with me. So I got on my running shoes and ran out the door, realizing I had a very stiff neck. And I thought, if anybody's stubborn, it's me. I mean, I have had every opportunity, and I have to be proven. I'm not going to just accept your word that there's God out there, and I'm certainly not going to accept his word, because that's what he does for a living. So I've got to, if there's a God out there, I want him to talk to me, not somebody else. I don't want to get it third hand, okay? That's pretty stiff-necked, wouldn't you say? I want to see it. I'm Thomas. I want my fingers in the holes. I want to know that this is real. And I said, you're right. Oh, if the Jews had nothing on me. I was stiff-necked as could be. In fact, just an aside, do you know what Israel means, the word Israel? It means people who wrestle with God. And it came from the wrestling match between the angel and Job. And when he became Israel, because he wouldn't let go till he got the blessing. Do you remember that story? Okay. Well, I wasn't going to let go either till I got the blessing. And if you're that kind of person, I'm here to tell you, keep wrestling. There's nothing wrong with it. God loves it. He loves it. He loves being a doubter. He loves it. When you change a doubter's mind, you got something. He's never going to go back because he's tried everything else. There's nothing left. No place to go. Anyway, that was me. These little coincidences kept happening, and books would follow me home. People would say something, all kinds of interesting things, until eventually I decided I would go to Europe, and I found these books. What do you got? Those around here? Oh, there's one down there. Yeah. Of course, they weren't like this. This is nice. You could carry this all around Europe. And I was pack-sacking and camping. But when I got them, they were about this big, and in a big box, in the Course in Miracles books. Well, I didn't have much to do. The girl I'd gone with left me because she thought I was crazy because I was trying to listen to this voice and what I should do. I'd go to a street corner and say, should I go right? Should I go left? Should I go straight ahead? I mean, I had no plans, whatever. Because I wanted to see if this connection, these things that I was getting really would work, or if I could use them in my life, if there was anything out there that would really direct me, and would really help me, and would really work in the everyday life. I didn't do it on purpose, but Europe proved to be a really good place to go, because I didn't know what a bank was. I didn't know when they were open. I didn't know a pharmacy. In those days, you had to change currency. I didn't know how to get the money changed and everything. I was always lost. Then I bought a car that wouldn't run, so that helped too, because every time that breaks down, I'd meet somebody else, and they'd do something that would help me. It was quite amazing. So anyway, I got these books by accident, pretty much. And I won't tell you that story. It's a long story. In the book, there's a work book, one of the books. It's bigger than this. And I was doing those lessons every single day because I was desperate. I wanted to find out if this really worked. I'm standing here in front of you as an experimenter to see if God works. If what we're talking about all the time and everybody's giving lip service to, does that work in your life? Will that solve your problem? Will that make you happy? Or not? It's okay if it doesn't. I just wanted to know. I didn't want to just pretend that it was okay to love people or not love people. I want to know, does that really work? Does that do any good? Yeah, sure. Do unto others as you have them do unto you. That's a great idea, but does it work? What happens when you do that? My experience was when you do unto others, they take from you. You give them money, they don't give it back. They take more. Oh, you want to give money? Sure, I'll take some more. Oh, I don't know that works unless I try it, do I? I'm not going to take somebody's word for it. Well, these little lessons in here are kind of amazing. They kind of change your perspective on what's going on. And I did them every single day. It's not an endorsement for Course in Miracles. There's 100 ways to get there. We're all on that journey. You're a long way along. I'm not here to tell you to start the journey. You're already on it. I'm not here to tell you how to do the journey because you're already doing it. I'm just here to tell you how I did part of the journey, and if it helps you, fine. If it doesn't, fine. What I learned from the Course in Miracles and doing the lessons, and frankly don't do them anymore. This is the first time I picked up a Course in Miracles book in probably 5 years, maybe more. Opened it this morning. Don't know if I can find it again, actually. It says in here, in the manual for teachers, there it is. What do you know? Magic. I finished all the lessons. I read the text. I do things thoroughly. I was trained as a lawyer, so you have to read everything if you're a lawyer. And it says in the very end, and now in all your doings be you blessed. God turns to you for help to save the world. Teacher of God, he offers his thanks, and the world stands silent in grace. You bring from him, hard to get through this sometimes, you are the son he loves, and it is given to you to be the means through which his voice is heard around the world, to close all things of time, to end the sight of all things visible, and to undo all things that change. Through you is ushered in a world unseen, unheard, and yet truly there. Holy are you, and in your light the world reflects your holiness, for you are not alone and friendless. I give thanks for you and join your efforts on behalf of God, knowing they are on my behalf as well, and for all those who walk to God with me. So, anyway, I took that to heart. It's written for you, not just for me. This happens sometimes. If you're ever going to listen to me, you've got to put up with it. I can't help it. It touches me deeply. This is yours. This is your job. You want to know why you're here? You ever ask, why am I here? What's this all about? You ever feel like a Martian? What am I doing in this place? This doesn't make sense to me. This is your job. You're supposed to give my product away. The nice thing about it is when you give it away, you get more. The faster you give it, the more you get. Can't get rid of it. I mean, once you sign on to sell this product, you're stuck. Because you're going to have so much to give, you won't know where to go, what to do with it. And you're going to get more back. And what this does for you, I'm practical now, not just do it because it's a nice thing. This raises you up above the turmoil, above the little people that see something's wrong here, something's wrong with that person, something needs to be changed over here. And you raise up and you see everything is working beautifully. There's nothing wrong. And that's amazing. Can you understand what I'm saying? How amazing that is? Where you thought there was nothing right and everything was going wrong and nothing was fair and nothing was just. And love was a nice thing to talk about, but it didn't work, and who would ever try it? To get to the place where you see everything beautiful, harmony, everybody in their right place. Even the people that are being hurt, that's fine. It's all part of the beautiful scheme. Because it's just a dream. If you dreamed last night that I broke into your house and took your most precious possession, and I've got it, and here I am, and you meet me the next day when you wake up, would you beat me up? Would you try to get it away from me? Of course not. We'd probably have a good laugh about it. You say, you know what I dreamed last night? I dreamed you broke into my house and stole my precious thing. Because it's not real. It's just a dream. You can't get tied up in it. It changes when your mind changes. It changes when your mind changes. It's amazing. And you're that powerful. You're literally creating your world as you walk through it. And it is what you expect it to be. Think how powerful you are. My goodness. You literally make your next moment, your next day. You literally make the people that you meet. They either are friends or enemies. You make that. You can't believe the power that you have when you start to open and love and allow them and let them come to you and see why are they in your life. Nobody's there by accident. If somebody's bugging you, that's the time to ask, isn't it? Why are you here? You don't ask them because you created them. You ask yourself, why are they there? Do you know why they're there? Do you ever look in a mirror? That's the part of you. That's the ugly part of you that you don't want to look at. And they're showing up to show it to you. You understand what I'm saying? They're your biggest helpers. They're your teachers. They're your best. They're your best friends. And you're hating them. That's not fair. That's not fair. I don't care how terrible they were. They've only gotten that terrible because you didn't take the first one that just bothered you a little bit. You ignored that one. You ignored the one that kind of you could avoid. And all that happens is they keep getting bigger and bigger and worser and worser. It is. There's nothing that you can't love. Nothing. Nothing. If you see the reality in it. If you saw people. I had I don't know why I'm telling you this. It's hard to describe. I was waiting for my son. I'd been on a sailboat race, and I was in San Diego, and I didn't have my car because we'd been in a sailboat. And he was coming. Got a Kleenex here? There we go. Thank you. Thank you, John. Oh, by the way, before I tell the story, I was supposed to do something. You know, John's done a good job this year here. Don't you think? Yes. Done a good job? Well, I heard he did a good job. And I heard, now this is only a one-time deal. This is not permanent, John. Would you come up here? But I heard to double John's salary today. So I'm going to double your salary.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, it's just for this year, not next year. Next year he's got to, earn it again if he can. But I heard to do that this year. I had to break it up a little bit, guys. I get where I can't talk. I was sitting on this bench waiting for my son, and this beautiful thing happened. People were running by. It was on the water, and there were people running by, and each person, of course, was their own persona. Had a weightlifter go by, and a real good-looking girl in a little tiny bikini, and an old lady with a dog, and all that stuff. And somehow, I could see past what was the body in front of me, and I could see the little spirit inside that person. And the little spirit was just having a great time. That what would it be like to be a weightlifter? That must feel really powerful. I think I'll try that for a while, maybe this lifetime. Or what if I was kind of decrepit and little and couldn't hardly walk and had a dog and that was the only thing in my life? That'd be kind of fun. I think I'll try that. It's not the real person. There's a spirit in there living that life in that way. And if you can touch that spirit, you'll see the beauty of what's going on. And they will be surprised. They think they're hidden. They don't think you can see them. But if you love them, you can see that spirit. And that's what happens with the people that you love so much. You don't see the